Hey there, today we're talking about something that could literally save your life when the unexpected happens. If the power goes out, gas lines fail, or you find yourself in a situation where you can't cook anything, you need foods that are ready to eat right out of the package. No heat, no problem. These 12 no-cook foods are nutritious, shelf-stable, and could keep you going when everything else falls apart. So if you're new here and you want more practical survival information that actually works, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Let's jump right into it. First up, we need to talk about canned beans. Now I know what you're thinking, beans straight from the can sound terrible, right? But here's the thing, you can absolutely eat beans cold right out of the can and they're going to give you protein, fiber, and calories when you desperately need them. Black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, whatever you prefer. They're already cooked during the canning process, so they're safe to eat without any additional heating. The best part is they're cheap, they last for years on the shelf, and they're incredibly filling. A single can of beans can provide a solid meal's worth of nutrition. You don't need to drain them either. That liquid contains nutrients and can help keep you hydrated. Sure, they taste better warm with some seasoning, but in a crisis situation, you're not going to be picky. Stock up on variety because eating the same thing gets old fast and you want options. Number 2 is canned fish, and this is a powerhouse food that doesn't get enough credit. Tuna, salmon, sardines, mackerel, all of these are packed with protein and healthy fats that your body needs, especially during stressful situations. Sardines especially are underrated because they contain the bones, which means extra calcium, and they're rich in omega-3 fatty acids. You can eat them straight from the tin with a fork. No preparation needed whatsoever. Canned fish typically has a long shelf life, often several years, and it's energy dense, which matters when you need maximum nutrition from limited supplies. The oil or water they're packed in also provides extra calories or hydration. Don't overlook the smaller tins either. Anchovies and kippered herring are salty and flavorful, giving you variety and important minerals your body craves. If you've never tried eating sardines straight from the can, try it now before a crisis hits so you know what to expect. Moving on to number 3, nut butters are absolutely essential. Peanut butter, almond butter, cashew butter, these are calorie bombs in the best possible way. Just a couple of tablespoons give you protein, healthy fats, and a lot of energy. You can eat nut butter straight from the jar with a spoon, spread it on crackers if you have them, or even just lick it off your finger if that's all you've got. The fat content means you'll feel full longer, which is crucial when food might be scarce. Natural nut butters without added oils can separate, but they still last a long time unopened. Once opened, they're still good for months even without refrigeration, though they're better stored cool if possible. The main thing is getting varieties without a lot of added sugar because you want sustained energy, not a sugar crash. Nut butters are also compact and portable, so if you need to grab your supplies and move, they're easy to take with you. Number 4, dried fruits might seem like just a snack, but they're actually incredibly valuable. Raisins, dates, apricots, cranberries, figs, all of these provide quick energy from natural sugars plus fiber and various vitamins. Dried fruits are lightweight, compact, and they last for months or even years when stored properly in a cool, dry place. During a crisis, your body might be under physical and mental stress, and the natural sugars give you that immediate energy boost you need. Dates especially are amazing because they're extremely sweet and satisfying, almost like candy, but they also have potassium and other minerals. You can eat dried fruits by the handful, mix them with nuts for a trail mix situation, or just keep them in your pocket for quick energy throughout the day. They don't require any prep, won't make a mess, and won't spoil quickly even in less than ideal conditions. Let's talk about number 5, which is crackers and hardtack. Now regular crackers from the store are great and they last a decent amount of time, but hardtack is the ultimate survival cracker. It's been used by sailors and soldiers for centuries because it literally lasts forever if kept dry. You can make it yourself before a crisis with just flour, water, and salt, or you can buy commercial versions. Hardtack is extremely hard, like break your teeth hard, but you can suck on it to soften it or crumble it into other foods. Regular crackers like saltines, whole grain crackers, or rice crackers are more pleasant to eat and still last months in sealed packages. They give you carbohydrates for energy, and you can eat them plain or pair them with other foods like nut butter, canned fish, or cheese. Crackers are also psychologically comforting because they feel like normal food, and that mental aspect matters more than people realize during stressful times. Number 6 is jerky and dried meat, and this is pure protein that requires zero preparation. Beef jerky, turkey jerky, salmon jerky, even exotic options like bison or venison. They're all dried and preserved so they're shelf-stable and ready to eat. The high protein content helps maintain muscle and keeps you feeling full, and the salt content actually helps with electrolyte balance, especially if you're sweating or stressed. Jerky is lightweight and portable, making it perfect for emergency situations. The main downside is it can be expensive, but it's worth having some in your supplies. You can also make your own jerky if you have a dehydrator or oven, which saves money and lets you control the ingredients. Some people worry about nitrates and preservatives in commercial jerky, so look for natural versions if that concerns you, but in a true crisis, any jerky is better than no protein at all. Coming in at number 7, we have meal replacement bars and protein bars. These are specifically designed to be nutritionally complete or at least very dense in calories and nutrients. Brands make bars that are meant to sustain you through emergencies, and they typically last for years. They're not going to win any awards for amazing flavor, but they're efficient. You get calories, protein, carbs, fats, vitamins, and minerals all in one compact package that you can eat in seconds. No utensils needed, no mess, no prep. Some bars are better than others, so actually taste test before you buy a case of something you'll hate eating. In a crisis, you might be eating these daily, so having a few different flavors or brands prevents food fatigue. They're also easy to ration because each bar is a defined amount of nutrition. The compact size means you can store a lot of them in a small space, and they're perfect for bug-out bags or emergency kits in your car. Number 8 is canned vegetables, and yes, you can absolutely eat them cold. Canned corn, green beans, peas, carrots, beets, tomatoes, all of these are already cooked and safe to eat right out of the can. They provide vitamins, minerals, and fiber that you desperately need, especially if you're eating a lot of protein and fats from other sources. The liquid in canned vegetables also counts as hydration, which could be crucial if clean water is limited. Canned tomatoes especially are versatile because they're flavorful and can be mixed with other foods to make things more palatable. Green beans and carrots give you something with texture and crunch. The main thing with canned vegetables is choosing low-sodium versions when possible because you don't want to get dehydrated from too much salt, especially in a situation where water might be precious. Variety matters here too because different vegetables provide different nutrients. Number 9, and this might surprise you, is honey. Pure honey never spoils. Archaeologists have found edible honey in ancient Egyptian tombs thousands of years old. It's basically immortal if stored properly. Honey gives you quick energy from simple sugars, and it has antibacterial properties, which means it can even be used medicinally on wounds in a pinch. A spoonful of honey can boost your energy instantly, settle your stomach, or satisfy a sweet craving that could be driving you crazy. It's also useful to sweeten other foods that might be bland or unpleasant. You can mix honey into nut butter, drizzle it on crackers, or eat it straight from the jar. Beyond nutrition, honey provides comfort, and that psychological boost is real when everything around you is chaotic. Store it in a sealed container and it'll outlast almost everything else in your supplies. Number 10 is shelf-stable milk, specifically ultra-high-temperature processed milk in aseptic boxes or canned evaporated and condensed milk. These don't need refrigeration until opened, and they last for months or even years. They provide protein, calcium, fats, and calories. You can drink shelf-stable milk straight from the box. Evaporated milk can be consumed directly, though it's concentrated so it's rich and sweet. Condensed milk is very sweet and thick, almost like a dessert, and it's incredibly calorie-dense. These milk products can also be added to other foods or mixed with water to stretch your supplies. For people who need dairy or just want the nutritional benefits, having shelf-stable milk is a game changer. It's especially important for children or anyone with higher calcium needs. The psychological comfort of having something that tastes relatively normal and familiar can't be overstated. Number 11 is ready-to-eat canned meals. Things like canned chili, canned stew, canned pasta, or canned soup. These are complete meals in a can that are designed to be eaten hot, but they're perfectly safe cold. Will cold canned ravioli taste amazing? Probably not, but it'll fill your stomach and give you a mix of protein, carbs, and fats all at once. Canned chili is particularly good because it's hearty and flavorful even cold, and it contains beans and meat for solid nutrition. These canned meals are convenient because there's no assembly required, no mixing ingredients, you just open and eat. They also provide variety in flavor and texture, which helps prevent appetite fatigue. When you're stressed and tired, having something that feels like a real meal can boost morale significantly. Stock several different types so you're not eating the same thing constantly. And finally, number 12 is cereal and granola. Now you might think cereal needs milk, but you can absolutely eat it dry straight from the box. Cereal provides carbohydrates for energy, and many are fortified with vitamins and minerals. Granola is even better because it often contains nuts, oats, and dried fruits, making it more nutritionally complete. You can eat it by the handful like trail mix. Both cereal and granola are familiar comfort foods that most people enjoy, which again helps with that mental aspect of getting through a crisis. They're lightweight, easy to store, and don't require any preparation whatsoever. Choose whole grain options when possible because they provide more sustained energy and fiber compared to sugary cereals that'll give you a crash. Granola especially is calorie-dense because of the nuts and oils, so a little goes a long way in keeping you fueled. So there you have it, 12 no-cook foods that could seriously make the difference when crisis hits and you can't heat anything. The key is variety because you need different nutrients and you need to keep your appetite up when times are tough. Stock a mix of proteins like canned fish and jerky, energy sources like nut butters and honey, carbs like crackers and cereal, and nutrients from canned vegetables and fruits. Don't forget the psychological component either. Having foods that taste good and feel somewhat normal will help you stay mentally strong when everything else is falling apart. Start building your no-cook emergency food supply now before you actually need it. Test these foods, figure out what you like, and rotate your stock so nothing goes to waste. If you found this helpful, make sure you're subscribed because we've got more practical survival content coming your way. Stay prepared out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, before you go, I want to dive a little deeper into some practical considerations that'll make your no-cook food strategy actually work when you need it most. You see, just having the food isn't enough. You need to think about storage, rotation, and how to actually implement this in your daily life right now, not when disaster strikes. First, let's talk about storage conditions because they matter way more than most people realize. These foods last longest when kept in a cool, dry, dark place. If you have a basement, that's ideal. If you don't, a closet away from direct sunlight works fine. Heat is the enemy of shelf-stable foods. Every 10 degrees of temperature increase can cut the shelf life in half. So avoid storing your emergency supplies near furnaces, water heaters, or in sunny locations. Moisture is equally important to manage. Use airtight containers, add oxygen absorbers if you're really serious about long-term storage, and consider desiccant packs to keep everything dry. Basements can be humid, so be mindful of that. A simple dehumidifier can make a huge difference for preserving your food stores over years. Here's something else people don't think about enough: actually rotating your stock. This is called first in, first out, or FIFO, when you buy new supplies. Move the old stuff to the front and use it first. This means you're constantly eating your emergency food in normal life, so nothing ever actually expires and you always know what you have. You're also not throwing away old food that finally went bad after sitting for 7 years. Plus, you get to actually test and taste these foods before a real emergency happens. You'll discover which brands you like, which products you hate, and you can adjust your supplies accordingly. There's nothing worse than discovering in a crisis that you stocked up on something you absolutely can't choke down. Let's also discuss portion planning because this is critical. You need to figure out how many calories you need based on your activity level and stress situation. An average person needs about 2,000 calories per day in normal circumstances, but during a crisis with physical activity and stress, you might need more. Calculate roughly how many days of food you want to store. Most experts recommend at least 2 weeks, but ideally a month or more. Then work backwards to figure out how many cans, jars, and packages you actually need. This prevents you from having way too much of something and not enough of something else. Keep a simple spreadsheet or written inventory so you know exactly what you have and where it is. Now here's something practical that many people overlook: water. Yes, we talked about hydration from canned goods and milk, but you still need to think about water independently. In a true emergency where water systems are compromised, having actual drinking water is absolutely critical. 1 gallon per person per day is the standard recommendation for drinking and basic sanitation. Store water separately from your food in food-grade containers. Rotate it every 6 months or use it for watering plants and refill it. Water is heavy, so this takes serious space, but it's non-negotiable. You could also have water purification tablets or a quality water filter as backup. The no-cook foods we discussed can help with hydration because many come in liquids, but don't let that be your only water strategy. Another practical consideration is utensils and tools. Can openers are obvious, but think about what you'll actually need. A manual can opener that doesn't require electricity is essential. Some no-cook foods need utensils, some don't. Have some spoons or forks in your emergency kit. A sharp knife can be useful too, though honestly most of these foods don't require cutting. Wet wipes or dry wipes are valuable for cleaning your hands and utensils if water is limited. A cutting board isn't necessary for no-cook foods, but some kind of plate or surface to eat from makes things more pleasant. Trash bags to contain waste are important too because you don't want garbage accumulating and attracting animals or pests. Let's talk about a topic that makes people uncomfortable: dietary restrictions and allergies. If you have celiac disease, nut allergies, dairy allergies, or any other dietary restrictions, you absolutely need to account for that in your emergency supplies. Check labels carefully. Some canned goods contain surprising allergens. There are nut-free alternatives to nut butters like seed butters. There are gluten-free crackers and cereals. There are dairy-free alternatives for shelf-stable milk. Don't just stock generic supplies and hope they work. Test them now, build your stockpile around foods you can actually safely eat, and maybe even keep a printed list of your safe foods in your emergency kit, so if you're stressed or someone else is helping you, you have a reference. Here's something else worth mentioning: medications and supplements. If you take medications regularly, make sure you have an adequate supply of those because they're even more important during a crisis. If you take vitamins or supplements, stock some extras. Some no-cook foods are fortified with vitamins, but if you have specific nutritional needs, address those directly. If you have digestive issues and certain foods trigger problems, account for that when choosing your supplies. During stressful times, your digestive system might be sensitive, so having foods you know you tolerate is important for comfort and health. Let's discuss the mental and emotional aspects of emergency preparedness because they're just as important as the physical supplies. Having this food stored gives you peace of mind right now in normal times. Knowing you're prepared reduces anxiety about what if scenarios. That's valuable. But also, having your supplies means you need to actually be familiar with them. Eat these foods regularly. Have canned beans for lunch sometimes. Try that jerky brand you stockpiled. This familiarity is crucial because in a stressful situation, your brain and body will perform better with familiar foods than with something totally new. You won't have the mental energy to experiment when things are chaotic. One more practical point: accessibility. Don't bury your emergency food in a hard-to-reach spot. It needs to be accessible in various scenarios. If you can't leave your house, you need supplies inside. If you need to evacuate quickly, you need a portable bug-out bag with some of these foods. Some supplies should be in your car for unexpected situations. Think about different scenarios and store accordingly. An earthquake might trap you at home. A flood might force you to evacuate. A power outage might just be a few hours or several days. Different situations call for different preparation strategies. Have some redundancy and distribution of your supplies. Now let's address the budget reality. Yes, storing emergency food costs money up front, but here's the perspective: you're not spending extra money if you're rotating your stock. You're buying food you'll eat anyway. Many of these items are inexpensive, especially if you shop sales and use coupons. Canned beans cost less than $1. Large jars of peanut butter are reasonable. Dried fruits are affordable in bulk. Honey is an investment, but it never spoils, so it's actually economical long term. You don't need to buy expensive specialized survival food. Regular grocery store items work perfectly fine. Start small, add to your supply gradually, and you'll build a substantial stockpile without breaking the bank. Think about complementary items too. A manual can opener is cheap but essential. A headlamp or flashlight means you can see to prepare food if the power's out. A manual water pump or water filter might be useful. Even simple things like matches, a lighter, or a battery-powered radio make your emergency situation better. These don't cost much individually, but they matter significantly when you're actually in a crisis. Layer your preparedness. Start with no-cook food, then add water, then add tools and comfort items. Here's a thought that's worth sitting with. Preparing for emergencies isn't pessimistic or paranoid, it's responsible. We already prepare for things all the time. We have car insurance even though we might never have an accident. We have first aid kits even though we hope we never need them seriously. We have smoke detectors and fire extinguishers. Emergency food storage is the same category of responsible adult behavior. You're not doomsday prepping if you have reasonable supplies that could get you through a couple weeks of disruption. You're just being practical about your family's well-being. One last thing: don't keep your preparedness a secret from your household. Everyone living with you should know where your emergency supplies are, how to access them, and what the plans are. If you have kids, age-appropriately teach them about emergency preparedness. They'll be less scared if they understand that you've thought through various scenarios. Partners should be equally involved in the planning. Elderly relatives or vulnerable people in your life might benefit from having some supplies dedicated to them. Make preparedness a family affair, not just your personal project. As you're building your no-cook food supply, remember that perfection is the enemy of good. You don't need a perfectly balanced emergency diet with exactly the right micronutrients in exactly the right proportions. You need food that will sustain you through difficult times. Some calories beat no calories. Some nutrition beats starvation. Build what you can, start where you are, use what you have. The best emergency supply is the one you actually have, not the perfect one you're still thinking about building someday. Thank you so much for watching this far. This stuff matters, and I genuinely appreciate that you've taken time to think about your preparedness. If this video was useful to you, please hit that subscribe button, because we're constantly creating content about practical survival skills and preparedness that actually works in real life. Share this with someone you care about who might benefit from the information. Leave a comment and let me know which of these no-cook foods you're most interested in stocking up on. Check out our other videos for more emergency preparedness content, from water storage to first aid to communication planning. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.